Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't care that he might have a degenerative disease? Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't care he might have a degenerative disease? My husband has been complaining about the muscles in one of his arms twitching for a week and he's convinced he has ALS. He came home from work today and said his mouth was salivating more than normal and informed me that's a symptom of ALS. When he first told me he was concerned, my immediate reaction was, obviously, fear and concern, so I asked him if he would please call a doctor the next day. He jumped down my throat for not having any sympathy, so I shut up and walked away. He has a history of complaining about his health and not doing anything about it. He complained about groin pain for the first 10 years of our relationship and I got sick of hearing about it, so every time he complained I would ask if he had called a doctor yet. The answer was always no. We were on a hiking trip 3 years ago and when we got back to the cabin he was laying on the sofa and said he felt a bulge in his groin. I immediately knew it was a hernia and told him to make an appointment ASAP. It took withholding sex before he would finally go to a doctor where he was diagnosed with massive bilateral hernias. So yeah, my sympathy for his health complaints is gone. I feel like he should seek the advice and guidance of a professional if he thinks something is very wrong, because I'm as far from being in the medical field as one can get. I've tried making his appointments for him in the past, but he either just wouldn't go or would cancel them. Back to the ALS concern. Tonight when he got home and informed me about his watery mouth, I asked him if he had called our healthcare provider today. He said no. I calmly asked him why not and then said I was concerned that he thought he had a serious degenerative disease but wouldn't do anything about it. An argument ensued and he called me a "see you next Tuesday" for not having any sympathy for his ailments. I told him I really didn't care if he thought he had a serious disease. What I do care about is if he has a serious disease, knowing that we will tackle it once there's a diagnosis. I'm not remotely interested in coddling his hypochondria. So, am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't care he might have a degenerative disease because he won't seek medical help? Not the asshole. He wants all the sympathy and care that would go to someone who was seriously ill, without the pesky suffering that would come from having an actual illness. If he goes to the doctor and finds out he's fine, he can't milk it anymore. At first I thought you were. But then thinking of the months and months and months of my husband complaining about his teeth and never going to the dentist. Then his tooth started chipping, so he finally went in and it's worse than he thought it would even be. So not the asshole. I mean, not the asshole, but I'd care you lived with this shit for over a decade. Not the asshole. And his "see you next Tuesday" insult might have hastened his demise if it were me. Nor, when he starts this crap, panic, start flipping out, grab the phone to call the paramedics, ask if the will is up to date, what kind of funeral he wants, show him how ridiculous he is being by being just as ridiculous. Nata. He sounds exhausting. Definitely not TA. Why should you be concerned if he's not even concerned enough to get a real diagnosis? Excessive salivation can also be a symptom of pregnancy. Is he going to claim that, too? BTW, I didn't know that until I googled it just now, lol. Not the asshole. He wants to complain and not do anything about it. You didn't say you didn't care, and game over when he called you that word. Not the asshole. Is he afraid of going to the doctor? This behavior would be maddening to live with. Not the asshole. If he's a hypochondriac, it's annoying. If he had serious issues and refuses to seek medical attention, that's irresponsible, and he's using you for emotional support preemptively when he needs to seek medical intervention rather than speculate wildly. Not the asshole. Without a proper diagnostic, it is impossible to determine what is wrong. Is he an attention seeker? Why is he waiting for you to book his doctor's appointment for him? Does he know that fatigue, anxiety and stress can give you these symptoms as well? Wouldn't it be easier to just go to the doctor, who is the best, most qualified person to diagnose and treat him if there is a real degenerative disease, or to put his mind at ease if it is something else and start a treatment plan. He called his wife a cunt about a possible made-up illness and still won't go see if it's real. One thing is super real. That's divorce. Or him getting his shit right. One or the other. The day my husband calls me a cunt for not listening to his whining is the day I don't have a husband anymore. Not the asshole. Divorce him, babe. Not the asshole. You are showing sympathy by urging him to get things checked out. God loved Noah and wanted to save him, but Noah still had to build that ark and saw. You love your husband and want him to be well, but your husband is the one who had to go see the doctor. C-word is a deal breaker. Bye-bye husband. Bye-bye. Not the asshole. Asking him if he has talked to his doctor yet is showing concern and shows you care about him. What in his mind is the sympathy you aren't showing? Is he looking for you to coddle him and say poor baby and then do nothing about this potentially very serious illness? How would that be helpful or responsible of you as his wife if all you did was empty gestures of sympathy? Someone called you that terrible word and you are wondering if you are in the wrong? Oh, hell no. Damn, I have a husband that runs to the doctor for everything. Maybe it's due to his chronic kidney disease. I'm the one that drags my foot a bit. He's always on me to be on top of preventive care. October comes by, he's like, did you get a mammogram yet? Not the asshole if he's concerned he needs to get diagnosed by a professional. It does him no good complaining to you and him getting upset when you don't agree with him just diagnosing himself. Not the asshole, and although I think you could probably have handled it with more patience, saying that feels a bit like victim blaming since it sounds like he is quite difficult and antagonistic and unreasonable about getting medical care. It sounds like you would need the patience of a saint. I hope you are able to be more gentle with each other going forward. You had me with the title, not gonna lie, not the asshole. If it's not serious enough for him to even call a doctor, much less go in for an exam, then it's not serious enough to warrant your sympathy and concern. As someone who has a degenerative disease, your husband needs to get a grip. Playing the what if it's this only gets you so far if you're not willing to even try to get an exam or diagnosis. Not the asshole. He purely wants attention and sympathy, hence no doctor or attempt to confirm with a treatment plan. Also shown by how defensive and outraged he seems to fire back with when a productive solution is logically suggested. Also, I'm sorry you are subjected to that level of immature tantrums sprinkled with gaslighting and completely out-of-line name-calling. Question: do they sell tiny violins nearby? Christmas is around the corner and I feel he'd get a lot of use out of it. Not the asshole, tell him to eat a banana. Not the asshole. I have medical anxiety and will come up with a million reasons not to go see a doctor. I am currently sick with a pretty nasty cold, and as it stretches into its second week, it's triggering the anxiety brain starting to go, what if it's not just a cold? And my parents have told me that they think it's just a cold or maybe a sinus infection, but if I'm concerned I should call the doctors. Which is an immediate no. It's a fun cycle. But you know what I haven't done? Called them awful names. This feels far more controlling and manipulative than an actual anxiety reaction. Nata. If he does have something, he needs to get in front of it. You need to be emphatic when he says you don't have sympathy for him. You absolutely do, hence the need to get help sooner rather than later. He needs to understand that the fact he doesn't do anything about it, except Google symptoms, is only making things worse for him and your relationship. ALS is no joke and he's acting like it's not important enough to even see a doctor. You care for him so much he shouldn't dismiss his issues by not even seeing a doctor. Not the asshole. Your man needs to man up and go to the doctor. Why waste time worrying about something that might end up being nothing? Moreover, if it is something, then he can get started on treatment faster and perhaps have a more favorable outcome.